Obviously, our characters have made choices, or choices were made in their lives that brought them to where they are. And now we have alternate versions of the same characters. And we want to see sort of like how our universe would have evolved, had different choices we made along the way.
Yeah, it's a whole concept of, we found what's really interesting about the parallel universe is that, people are really interested in possibilities and choices that you made, or that you could have made, that would make your life take your life in a very different direction. So the theme of duality, duplicity, things like that really interest us right now because
Sex.
Yeah, I didn't say that. But I'll vote for that. It's the concept of.
Yeah, I don't know what those. Should we take a quick poll?
Yeah. Who wants sex? Next question. Could that be a teaser?
Well, I can't help but following up on that.
Yeah. You should.
I'll ask Mr. Jackson a very blunt question. Is Peter about to embark on the most exhilarating threesome he's ever had?
Answer for that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, is there any such thing as an unexhilarating threesome?
It could have been a foursome if that waitress who had burned you the mix hadn't been killed off. You were on the run. Never mind. They know what I'm talking about.
Can we just do another poll? He thinks this is a very creepy beginning.
Okay, we'll get less creepy.
We could also throw Gene in there. We could have all sorts of creepy things. That's true. PETA wouldn't stand for it. It's not in Gene's contract. Yeah, that's true.
Anna,
She turns me
I
down.
wanted to ask you, as alt Olivia, your body language is very different. Your shoulders are back. You have a real swagger. You drop the G's at the end of your words. I just wondered how you thought through that alternative version of yourself and how you came to that kind of physical bearing that you present.
I was so excited when I first found out that I was going to get to do that, and I sat down with a key who was directing that episode, and I talked to Jeff and Joel about, for the first little bit of it, I was so focused on trying to find the differences, where are they different, and then it didn't work because I was always thinking about the other while I was playing one. And so then I just let go and went, they're actually the same person. Like, they've got the same genetic makeup, they would have the same mannerisms, that, say the same things, they're in the same job, they're fundamentally the same person that have just made different choices. So that's really it. And I don't know, I guess I always, it's so subtle, the differences, but I think like Olivia, our Olivia, I always think she really wants to kind of be the best, just wants to be the best, whereas Olivia just wants to win. And I think that's the swagger to her, and that's the earnestness to Olivia, but yet you can see that they're coming from the same cloth.
Also, your scenes with Finn in Bowling Alley, there are a lot of fans I read who think that Finn is in your mind or only appears to you.
You say Sam.
Yeah, Sam, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, sorry.
I didn't even know that.
Sorry.
That's why I come.
How do you feel Sandy relates to Olivia in that context?
I think he's absolutely real. I've never questioned that. I don't know. I think there was a scene. There was a scene when he came to Olivia's house and they were playing the board game. He said, "I'm much older than people think." So I sort of thought about that, and I think he's maybe I don't quite know where he fits in, but I think he absolutely serves as a guide, actually. compass for Olivia anyway. But I've always felt that he was very, very real. That's what I kind of loved about it. I remember, you know, the Oracle in the Matrix. It's like the same kind of, that magic is such a kind of domestic and kind of physically real situation. I love that he's in a bowling alley and that she goes to him. I love that.
Mr. Noble, is Walter evil? Do you think of him as evil? Do you have to, when you play him, do you have to play him as enigmatic because you're not sure how evil he will be or not?
No, it's interesting, Ken. It's not an issue at all in the sense that having to research Walter and go back to what he was like prior to the death of Peter, that gave me the background for Walter. So actually, I know the background of Walter already. I just think he made, as the showrunner said, he made different choices, was confronted with different choices, and he became a different version of the same one. But it was really quite easy because I knew, you know, I don't know if you remember that episode, Peter, where we went back and the death scene, and that was the basis for it. So really, just choices, and that's been an ongoing theme with Fringe since season 1. The showrunners have said, what would happen if the choices, we've done so many demonstrations really of that, and that's one of the ongoing themes, and in fact that's why we've got 2 universes, which we're so excited about, you know, what happens if we'd done that instead of that, and thank you, that's it.
Well, you're not getting off that easy. Bell's final words to Walter are, Walter asked for his memories to be moved, quote, because of what you were becoming. What do you think that means?
Well, to start with, I can't necessarily take it as an absolute truth at this point. It's been written, it's been played, and you know, it was a magnificent scene to finish the series off for Leonard Nimoy to finish his career on. I don't know, I just thought we were so privileged to be part of it. What did he mean? I don't know. I really don't know, and I'm not backing the question again. The man you would have become? Would you have become alternate? Is this what we mean? Would you have become some sort of a power monger, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, absolutely? Whether that was Bell's perception of it. I mean, Bell's not God. He doesn't get it all right all the time. But it was a pretty powerful thing to say to Walter. I was very, very bad. And I think Bell was also validating himself for doing it, saying, yeah, well, I only did it for your own good.
You're better off about that.
Yeah, that was a great. I don't trust that Bell.
You asked Ken what the themes were this season, and one of the themes from the beginning of the show, which speaks to that question, was science or knowledge is sort of neutral, but it's the way you use it that can either be for good or for evil. And I think the question to John was, and the difference between Walter and alternate is, if you can cross universes for this very emotional reason, you're saving your son's life, but at the same time you're playing God. And is that acceptable under any circumstances? And what happens when you realize that you have the power to do these things which maybe man was never intended to have the power?